My name's Maio, Zaffino. I want you to hear this story because it's very hard to believe. I've written a book which is on Amazon, but people probably think I'm making it up. When I was very little, maybe from 2 years old, I used to see things at the bottom of my bed, and I wasn't frightened, but I knew they weren't there. Later, which was about 15 years ago now, there was a man standing at the bottom of the bed, and he wanted to tell me a story. He was very agitated and very angry, and he was fed up of his mum and dad being told, which wasn't true, different things about their lives. His mum and dad was Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, and it's their story. And he was angry because he was supposed to have died at a young age, when his mum, who was the cleverest woman on earth, would she really have sent him out on his little horse, dressed as a prince, to be assassinated as soon as he left the palace. It was a look-alike which she cleverly devised. All his friends looked a little bit like him, so an assassin wouldn't be able to know the difference. And this is what went on, even swapped bedrooms in the middle of the night, so she was so anxious to keep him alive. And yet it was her that was brutally killed, and his father Caesar, by the same man who ordered these deaths, and his name was Octavian. And he was the one that strangled my mother, and then she was tortured, and it was all witnessed by a handmaiden who Cleopatra told to hide behind the back of a bed which had the eye holes, because she knew that death was coming and she wanted a witness. And this is how we got to know how my mum had really died. This is what he said to me. And it was him then trying to avenge their deaths as he grew up. The book will tell from when he was 4 years old how his mum trained him to be the pharaoh that he was going to be. She was so proud of him, and so was Caesar. He didn't deny that he was his father. He was proud of him, even though he was only 4 years old when he last saw him. And it's his story and his life, and if you start reading the book, he takes you through every stage of it. Just bear with him. He's crying out for the truth to be told about his mum's murder and his dad. He eventually, as he grew up, um, went and rectified, shall we say. He wouldn't tell me how he'd done it, but he'd gone back, and there's 10 years in the book that he wouldn't tell me about, and I suspect he avenged their deaths, or he had a hand in them. This is his story. And also Sappho, the lady that I saw many, many years ago in and out of my life, dressed in black. She came and said, "Why haven't you done anything with the ring I sent you all those years ago?" I'd forgotten about that. It was given to me by my son as a joke. He'd found it, it was black and filthy, and said, "I've got you something, Mum." And I went, "Gee, thanks, that's fantastic, and just put it in my pinny pocket. And she actually stood at the bottom of the bed and said, "That ring is so important." And I said, "I haven't got it anymore." She says, "Yes, you have, it's in that drawer." And she pointed to my dressing table, and it was there in the morning when I went to look. We've since had it cleaned, and it's on the front cover of the book, and it's got rubies and diamonds and a word inside saying Charnish. And at the time when we looked it up, or my son looked it up, because I'm dyslexic, I can't even read and write properly, and it said Charnish, and it meant Magi, and the Magi have a lot to play in this and his life. And it's absolutely fascinating. Every day he'd come and give me 3 or 4 pages, which I tried in my handwriting to write down as quick as I could. It took me 8 weeks to write 50,000 words. For me, anyone who knows me, it's impossible. Now, Siobhan Green, who is the boss of ITV Entertainment, will rectify anybody who questions my sanity or whatever. She's known me since she was a little girl. I am not lying. This is a fantastic story. It needs to be out there. Please, please help me get his story out into the, well, wherever it is. I just can't even find the words. Why he chose me, I don't know. There's a certain producer he wants, and the names of all the boys, his friends, Credos, Delos, Esther, which was the handmaiden, a few of them, all make the name of the producer he wanted. And this was 14 years ago when I sent it to Richard and Judy, and they put it in an archive somewhere. So it's there with those names in. And my son did the, whatever the word is, anyway, found out the word was Ridley Scott, and it's him that he wants, and he won't settle for anybody else. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with Ridley Scott, because I'm nobody, and I've written the story and it needs to get out there before I die. I had a very serious operation 2 years ago, and all I could think of was, if I die now, Caesarion's still under the bed, which he's been for so many years, because that's where I hid him. But now it's time he got out and the truth was told. Thank you.